HealingYourself.Life provides information for awareness, educational, and support purposes only and does not diagnose or prescribe treatment for any medical condition. Viewers are encouraged to do their own due diligence and consult with their own medical caregivers before making personal treatment decisions. Welcome back to HealingYourself.Life. I'm your host, Dunagun Kaiser.
And I'm your co-host, Melody Kaiser.
We're here for session number 2 to talk about healing Lyme disease and living through it as a couple. And in our first, we talked about how we got it, how we detected it, some of the initial treatment that we received, how we were underinformed and misled by the official sources like the Centers for Disease Control on saying that isn't chronic and one treatment will do it and you can't catch it from your spouse and that kind of stuff. But we wanted to also touch on some of the effective treatments that we got.
Right.
And we mentioned the Buhner protocol, which is an herbal protocol named after Stephen Herod Buhner, who's an herbalist, and you can find his books at the library.
Right. I think it's Buhner, I think
it sounds right.
Yeah.
We'll put a link. We'll put his name and the title of his book underneath the description of the video. And one of the important things to realize is why the herbal approaches can be so much more healthful for your body
they're helping to rebuild,
strong drug approaches to try.
Because there's real nutrients in the herbs as well.
Yeah, because it's been said that, and I remember Dr. Nielsen talking about this in his interview on our Reluctant Preppers channel called What You're Not Being Told About Lyme Disease. He said the first order of business for the Lyme spirochetes, once they invade your body, is to try to shut off, to hide themselves from your immune system and shut off your immune system. So really, he said, Lyme disease can be viewed as a failure of the immune system. So the question is, well, how can you strengthen your immune system then?
Right.
Because rather than just, and this is where, guys, you've heard this before, but there's a big departure in modern Western medicine that it's like it thinks it's going to go use weapons, which is like dangerous toxic drugs, to go attack something.
Yes.
But the whole thing is to control, dominate, kill, and defeat, rather than, wait. Your body's natural state is health and wellness. And it's fighting a million things every day that you encounter in your environment. All kinds of stuff it takes care of. So why don't we just make your body supported and allow your immune system to be strengthened and do those things that are synergistic with your wellness. So we're restoring wellness. Just like when you have a healthy lawn, then the weeds can't choke it out. But if you have a stressed lawn, so we started learning a lot about herbal approaches. Also, Dr. Rawls, Rawls. We'll put a note to his
he
book.
also has a Lyme book
Unlocking
out as well.
Lyme.
Yeah.
And he and Stephen Herod Buhner talk about specific herbs which, when taken in combination especially, will help to support and strengthen and nurture your body's natural defenses, your natural immune system. Because something you mentioned in our last talk about Lyme, we didn't really dive into, and that's that it will automatically target the areas you've already been injured,
weak,
or already been weak or diseased before.
In one of my pregnancies was my hip. I had an inguinal ligament. I had hurt in my 4th pregnancy, and so then I don't know why the Lyme. Tell me why the Lyme does that. I can't remember.
The theory is, there's a couple theories. One is that if there's already inflammation in an area or there's already damaged tissue, it's an easy place for it to get involved. But it's even scarier than that. It's that your body has chemicals and little parts of you that come to the aid to do either repair, to tear down bad stuff and to build up good stuff when you're healing, when you're repairing. And they have it'll also change the chemical area there to kind of bend the rules and make it more possible to get things done temporarily, so that it doesn't. And so these Lyme spirochetes, and we didn't mention this either, but there's like 40 or 50 co-infections that generous tick, that gift that just keeps giving, can come along with. So that one little tick bite can not only give you Bartonella, Babesia, Borrelia burgdorferi, all these other things can come along with it. And So they can hit you in all these different places, but they can actually co-opt and hijack and get involved in what your body thinks is the healing process, but they're using those mechanisms that are naturally in your body to then get themselves implanted and buried into and burrowed into those areas. So they get like built into the foundation of the places where your body has already got inflammation or healing going on, so that they get cemented in there, and it becomes part of you. It's not gonna, and that's what we've been told is it's not going to ever not be there.
Right.
But what you can do is work at exposing it to your immune system, strengthening your immune system, and after you feel worse from all this house cleaning, you'll start to feel a lot better, and it'll be enough better that you can live a very productive and happy life, which is something that we were losing hope of for a while there.
Right, exactly. Yes, we felt so miserable and so awful. We wondered, life isn't going to get any better.
Is this the new normal? We're not going to remember anything. We're not going to have energy to do anything. We're not going to care about anything.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing about the relationship I just wanted to mention is we wondered, is it better or worse that we both have it? Because for a while there, she was very, very understanding and very sympathetic and very caring and very helping me with many things. And then it got kind of old.
Yeah, it did. I lost some patience there. Yeah, right. Yeah, sure. But then when I started getting some brain fog, and I think it's so much easier, I think I noticed still more times when he's more forgetful or whatever, or I'm assuming he's more forgetful.
At times.
So, yeah, sure. And then he'll notice, well, I'm forgetful, and I can't. I used to be very good at multitasking. I would never recommend, but I remember if a kid lost a Nook in the car and I'm driving, I could drive and put the Nook back, reach back and put the Nook, and I'm driving and seeing what I'm doing, and I could just multitask very well. I would never do that now. I probably shouldn't have done it then, but I've really lost that ability to be able to do more than one thing at one time still. But I feel like we are getting better. And the other thing that people don't tell you about Lyme is that sometimes your personality can change, and that we were really getting on each other's nerves. We were arguing more.
Snapping. Short irritability.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's something we'll talk about that a lot more during the Candida talk. That's about when we were carb deficient.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So we'll get there. But it was really, that's funny because when the other person is being forgetful or whatever, it's just so easy to notice them doing it. But this is a weird thing because we're not always reliable witnesses about ourselves. It's I forgot it, but we just whatever. Just make an internal justification, a rationalization. But when it's somebody else who's inconveniencing us, I told you that, and whatever.
Right.
And we would find that, oh my gosh, she did so much research on this stuff. Got books from the library, online reading. Every week we had like 5 new herbs that we thought, we better order those too.
Order that, because that's supposed to be good.
I mean, honestly, the UPS, and they must think we're running a pharmacy here or something, because we just these boxes. I can't even keep up with the recycling, all the boxes from all the different herbs and stuff. It's just, we finally thought, I said, honey, I'm losing track. I need to write a list of all this stuff. So we started writing. I'm sure it'll be like a couple dozen things. It was over 100 different things we were trying, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, we're just throwing the whole kitchen sink at this. Is this the necessary? Because it's getting to be extremely expensive.
Yes, right, exactly.
Overburdening and complex. How can we make this manageable for us? Because how do we remember to take all this stuff?
Right.
Or what it was all good for, and are all these things good to take together? Do you have to space them apart and that kind of thing? But it was that aspect of while you're doing your research, for example, like she mentioned, multitasking. And I think this is a men-women thing. I've heard this from a lot of guys, is that they tend to focus. And their wife says, no, you got to be able to notice everything. And it's like, I can't notice everything because I'm focusing. If you were focusing, you would remember what I said last time we talked about this 37 years ago or whatever. And the wife says, yeah, but you didn't notice that the kid just lit themselves on whatever, their shoes on fire over there. You got to pay attention. I'm focusing. But it got to be where you were doing the research. I realized if I spoke to you, you wouldn't hear me.
No.
Which is totally different.
That is a very different, yes. It's things, that part of me changed.
Affecting our brains.
That's right.
And that's one of the things.
That's the scariest part.
Some of these Lyme and co-infections can actually cross the blood-brain barrier and get into your brain. They even have a saying, Lyme brain.
Yeah.
Which means, and it can actually cause permanent changes if you don't get treatment. So this is nothing to mess around with. It isn't just, I can tough out these aches and pains, or I'll push through it even if I'm tired or whatever. It's like, look, if it's actually causing irreparable harm, you got to do something about it. And what we were finding was that the herbal approach was the most supportive.
First I want to say, I think the antibiotics, that the year that we were on antibiotics, yes, it was brutal, but it was powerful. And I don't know that we shouldn't have done it, because I think there was some help in there, even though it was really hard on our bodies. I'm not sure that we would be at the level that we are now.
True.
Just with herbal medication. Now maybe you can be, but I'm not an herbalist and I'm not an expert in that area. Maybe you can, but I think from what we know, I think we needed the antibiotics. But then, yes, the herbs I think has been wonderful. And we also, I think it's Buhner that really stresses that you must also take extra vitamins, because you cannot, your body needs to restore. Because he said, it's not like you can starve the bugs and the Lyme disease. You can't starve it, because it's going to take from your body. It's going to take from your whatever excess you have.
It's going to scavenge.
It will scavenge nutrients. Thank you for that word. Scavenge the nutrients, and it's like, if it's going to do that, you better be feeding yourself, because otherwise your body is going to you're going to break down and you won't be healthy anymore.
Right.
You were already not healthy, but you're going to even get worse. And so you go ahead and you feed and feed and feed your body good, healthy things.
Nutrient dense,
because your body then at least can absorb some of it. And the disease, yes, it's going to get some of it, but hopefully in the meantime, you're also using herbs to kill the Lyme.
And to nurture your immune system.
That's
one of the
things,
strong. Back to your thing about, they say whatever it is, feed a cold and starve a fever, or vice versa. Don't try to starve Lyme.
No.
Because if you think, because here's the deal. These guys, these little critters are so sneaky. They're able to, one of the ways that they're able to evade detection by your immune system is by they've shed all the bulk apparatus that a lot of other big bacteria have. They're just minimalistic. They're just the business parts, because they don't bring along any nutrient or the ability to even create or assimilate nutrients or anything, because they go, I'm going to scavenge. They're like little pirates, and they're going to take whatever they want and get it from you. So if you deplete, if you're too feeling tired to eat, or you're not taking enough of your supplements or that kind of stuff, because you have a tummy ache because the digestion is messed up from the antibiotics or whatever, you may think, well, that'll actually be an inhospitable environment inside me, and it'll starve out the bad guys. And the thing is, it will not starve out the bad guys. They will take care of themselves. They will get what they need from you, and you will become nutritionally deprived. So that's one of the things we learned. And Stephen Buhner is very big about the quantities. He says, if you take what it says on the bottle, one capsule a day or something, not going to do it. You need to take like 2 grams or 6 grams or 12 grams a day of this stuff. That gets expensive. And it gets hard in capsule form. That's a lot of capsules. So we were starting to get bulk herbs. You can get by 1 pound bags of some of this stuff. Some of these, like the sarsaparilla, the mushroom powder, and different things.
So and juicing.
That was such a blessing. We talk about that.
Yeah, one of our kids saw. We talked about how much we'd been suffering, and they went ahead. Our son bought us,
and daughter-in-law
bought us a
Omega. It's low speed masticating juicer.
Thank you. Masticating. That's the word I was looking for. Masticating juicer. And so Lee's been doing a lot of juicing, and we add the mushroom powder to it and things like that. But it helps you get much more nutrient dense food from the raw.
Organic.
Yeah, it has to be organic. It does have to be organic because
fruits and veggies.
Because the juice is so concentrated, you'll concentrate pesticides in there too if you have pesticide laden.
And Dr. Rawls talks about this is that we've learned in our Western diet to avoid bitter foods. Everybody wants comfort foods and yummy sweet foods and stuff like that. Not going to help. You get better, but things like radish and kale and the darkest greens and the beets and things like that are the more bitter often contain a lot more of these phytonutrients and things that are going to be helpful and supportive to your body. These dense nutrients. And in the juice, you can take a mixing bowl. By the time you get the organic veggies, cut off the bad parts, get them all cleaned up and sparkling clean, huge mixing bowl, enormous amount of stuff that more than you could eat in a setting.
Right.
You run it through the juicer and you get this little 8-ounce or 2 8-ounce glasses of juice.
Yes.
So that's just like super concentrated of those micronutrients to really give your body that boost of support.
And because it's a masticating juicer, you also get some of the fiber. You're not, because some juicers, they'll just take out all the fiber, and you're like, well, wait a minute.
High-speed extractor,
Yeah, and so this one is a masticating one, and you at least get the fiber then too, which is very important as well in your diet. So,
the other aspect of the herbal treatment that we learned to appreciate was that the goes that these plants have a wisdom among them, that they've been dealing with illnesses and diseases among plants, but they've learned how to mount a defense. So plants are actually intelligent in the sense that they have effective ways of dealing with infection and that kind of stuff. And humans used to have a much closer, healthy relationship with a wide variety of plants. And we've just completely lost that in our modern culture. We just, everybody knows we mostly eat junk food, and so to get kind of gradually plugged back into, okay, I'm going to have to eat healthier to be healthier, was a whole nother topic of research that my wife led the way on again for in our household. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah. So, and I think the other important, I wanted to, people are going to, when you do get sick, you may have not just one single way to health. We're also trying low-dose immunotherapy for our Lyme. And we're hoping that'll work. And it's also, you can do it for Candida as well. So there's more than just one path, I would say, to wellness. And sometimes you need to try more than the one path because it may not work for you individually, so you may have to do another path. There are people who have been able to do the whole GemSec protocol to get healed, and we just weren't able to continue.
And partly because I had a predisposition because of earlier inflammatory bowel disease where I just couldn't take how hard it was on the digestive system specifically. My digestive tract just wasn't able to. But you may be right, no doubt, that going through that part of the battle really gave us a huge move to a different place that we would be dealing with. So now the more gentler,
herbal,
wise herbal approach and everything is helping us to maintain a kind of living, a life, a level of wellness that's much better than without it. But it really was effective. The antibiotics were at getting us out of a terrible place. And into a better place.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely felt awful on the antibiotics as well. But then once we were able to get off the antibiotics, things started going better. And then we went on the Candida diet, and that helped too, because when you had both Lyme and Candida going, they're both really awful.
One thing we didn't mention, I think, was this natural reaction in your body called a Herxheimer reaction, where if you're effectively treating one of these massive bacterial infections, you get this die-off of cytokines and other chemicals that come from killing off the bad guys and the broken pieces of them and everything.
Right. And there's only 2 diseases, by the way, that cause Herxheimer reactions. If you have the flu and you get, if it's a type that it's a bacterial, I guess it wouldn't be the flu, but a bacterial infection, and you get antibiotics, it cures it, and you don't get a Herxheimer reaction. There are 2 diseases, and we got them both, Lyme and Candida, and that's it. And they actually can give you Herxheimer reactions from the healing, because there's die-off, and then your body has to deal with the die-off, and it makes you feel miserable. So go ahead.
Just going to mention that when that happens, when you get that reaction, first of all, it's a sign that you're on the right track.
Yes, you may have to back down and go less.
Kind of like if you're questioning someone who's not telling you the truth and you're getting really close to the point and they start like calling you names and getting all upset. You go, okay, now we're getting close to the gold mine here, because so the closer you get to, the bigger the Herxheimer reaction, the bigger the flare-up of your brain fog and memory lapses and aches and pains and exhaustion and all that kind of stuff. But the response isn't just power through it, and the response isn't just abandon completely and stop that type of therapy, but do take a break till your body can settle down a little bit, and then come back in slower at lower doses and tiptoe your way towards it again. Because you want to get back to that working edge where you're chipping away at having small victories over the bad guys, and there will be some collateral damage. You will feel uncomfortable when you're at that, but it's a productive place to be. It's kind of like when you're lifting weights. No pain, no gain.
Right.
You got to get to that productive state. but not overdo it. Because that, if you're lifting weights, if you totally overdo it and just injure yourself, then you're out of commission for weeks anyway, and that doesn't help.
No, so, right.
And I think we should probably transition in our next few minutes here into talking about Candida, because this is can be for people who get long-term antibiotic treatment for anything.
Yeah.
It can mess up your natural body's flora. You know that inside your gut live billions and billions and billions of beneficial bacteria that assist you with all kinds of processes. We don't understand. There's over like 500 species of them that live in you. So it's not just the one kind that's in Dannon yogurt.
Right.
But they get
or
wiped,
cultural,
but they can get nearly wiped out.
Yes.
All the billions of them and all the 500 species by these really powerful antibiotics.
Yeah, in fact, they will, because they're not as strong as the Lyme. They're not as strong as some diseases. So they actually can get wiped out. So anybody who's been on antibiotics can, not necessarily, but can get Candida, depending on how well their immune system works.
So what is Candida? It's a naturally occurring yeast
in your body,
in the environment, and it's in everybody's body, but it's held in check by the dominance of your naturally, the healthy bacteria that also live in there, the 500 species of them that live inside you. And when those guys get wiped out by chronic antibiotic therapy, then you can get this overgrowth, this bloom, this blossoming of this Candida albicans, which is this yeast. And we'll talk about the horrible things that can do for you and what you do to get rid of that in our next talk.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks for joining us again on HealingYourself.Life. I'm Dunagun Kaiser.
And I'm Melody Kaiser.
And we'll talk to you again about Candida very soon.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.